Happy Monday, everyone. Welcome into the News 10 Plus desk. I'm Taylor Gattoni with Nicole Buckman on this Monday.
On this Monday, the last Monday of the month.
Oh, boy, yeah.
Last Monday of spooky season.
Mm-hmm.
Technically. You can celebrate spooky season all year round. We heard a gasp.
Crystal's upset about that.
But obviously, there's so much to talk about. I think a big thing right now, everyone is seeing a little bit of flurries out there.
Yeah, I was driving and I was like, what is this white stuff falling from the sky? And I'm like, Taylor, that is snow.
It is snow.
I just didn't want to believe it.
Yes.
Yeah.
You got to get used to it. It's Michigan. But we have ways to make you smile, and it'll be nice and cozy right here on Studio 10.
Right.
We're kicking off the show with David Andrew. He's bringing us his David's Dish of the month. And spoiler alert, it's spooky season themed. So,
all right.
Yes, we'll share a little bit about what this dish is, the dessert, how much goes into making it, and then maybe you guys at home can do it too. So it'll be lots of fun. We love it. It's always good to have a little bit of sweets on Studio 10. And then we also have the cast of The Witch's Princess.
Ooh.
Yes. I've never heard of this play, but I did some research, and it sounds very fun for the whole family. And who doesn't like to go on a quest and an adventure?
Oh, that would be fun.
Yes. So definitely mark your calendars for this weekend or next weekend. That's when they'll be performing over in East Lansing. And they'll be on the show today, and they're bringing in one of their puppets that they have to puppeteer on stage. So we'll learn a little bit about the work that goes into that.
It's always so interesting. Like, I don't know if, I'm sure you've seen Pinocchio, but even trying to figure out how you move it around and make them all lively and animated. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So we have all of that fun on today. But plus, too, it's Studio 10 is not just about fun. It's also about learning, education, being in the know. We are kind of wrapping up the month with a wellness watch.
Okay.
So we're talking all things kind of GI health, a lot of it about how it impacts women, especially too when it comes to more of our time of the month and kind of like the other side effects that you might be getting. Wow. So it's actually very, very informational, and the doctor we have on is just very good at explaining it, because sometimes there's like, wait, this does happen to me. This does happen to me. Oh, it could be because of just your cycle and all of that. So we'll be going through with that. Plus, it is the time of the year where Medicare is on a lot of people's minds, signing up, finding that good, open enrollment, finding that plan for you. So we have a local mid-Michigan Medicare guest. He's going to be on, and he's going to tell us a little bit about finding that plan for you and why that's important.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and it's cool, too, just to highlight local people that are doing that as well.
Of course.
Yeah, and then we're ending it up with, as we close off Halloween, we get into kind of the giving season.
I know, it's coming up so
Yeah,
fast.
so giving to other people, obviously in the form of gifts, but also like finding other local nonprofits or local organizations that are in need of to receive and giving. So a lot
of like coats, socks, shoes this time of year, even like the toys.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what we're having City Rescue Mission on, and talking about their mission and how that's needed more than ever, and how you can help and how they're expanding, all of that. So
that's awesome.
Everything on Studio 10.
All right.
Before our Halloween bash, which is tomorrow.
Get ready for that. Will you all be dressing up?
Absolutely.
Okay, that's good.
Absolutely. You'll definitely want to tune in for that. We might not even have to do CTV tomorrow because it will give away our costume.
Oh, yeah, got to keep it.
Yeah, so we'll talk after off air, and I'll let you know. But yeah,
all right.
It's going to be so much fun.
Someone asked me, they're like, are you dressing up? I'm like, I don't think that would be fitting or appropriate for some of the things. So I was like, that's up to you guys to go all out for dressing
definitely.
up.
We used to do, at like previous stations that I've worked at, is like where you kind of are subtle about your costume. So a group of our reporters, we all dressed up as like the cast of Clue. So then you could be Miss Scarlet because you're wearing red.
Yeah.
And then someone could be Miss Peacock and wear blue, and then you take a picture. Or you could do the same thing with like, we were the feathers of the NBC Peacock, so we each had a color. So you still can be. You just got to be subtle.
Low key about it. All right, we'll see what I can brainstorm. Thank you, Nicole.
Exactly. No problem.
All right.
Thank you.
Tune into Studio 10 coming up at 3 o'clock today. Just over 15 minutes here. And of course, there's all the ways you can stay connected with them. There are their socials. All you have to do is look up at WILX Studio 10. You can stay connected, watch any previous little episodes that they've had, little segments. Lots of fun, of course, if you want to look at David's Dish. If, sometimes people look at it and they go, oh, that's really interesting, looks delicious. And then if you want to find the recipe or anything, or go back and rewatch and how all the steps that David went through to make his yummy dish, you can always go to @WILX Studio 10. So there you go. But Nicole was just talking about the flurries, and if you were outside for a little bit today, you probably saw all of that white stuff coming down from the sky. A little spooky. I know we're not even, in the colder month. Well, we are getting much colder, but not in December quite yet. But we have to prepare for all those cooler temperatures, especially for the trick-or-treaters tomorrow. So we're going to send it to Justin Bradford on how you can prepare.
Well, we do have some cold air that has settled in. It's already arrived, and temperatures stayed in the low 40s out there today. However, we're going to get another reinforcing punch of this cold air. Notice out in the plains, this is going to dip in, dive down into the plains states as we head into our Tuesday time frame, and that cold air is going to come right over the top of mid-Michigan. Now, that's not only going to get the numbers down into the low to mid-20s on Wednesday morning to start November, but it's also going to bring some snow showers late in the day Tuesday as a weak system moves through. So the hour by hour, I think, keeps us dry today. A few clouds fade through. They're dark at times, but we should stay dry, low 40s for the highs. And then overnight we'll dip briefly into the 20s before starting close to around 32 tomorrow morning. Could see a stray snow shower early in the day. I think the better opportunity is going to come late, probably between about 4 and 8 p.m. You can see that here, a weak system moving in, a few snow showers fly. If anything does manage to stick, it'll be on grassy, cold, and elevated surfaces. Roads are not going to be a concern, and I think that if anything does manage to stick, it's very short-lived and melts right into the ground before too long. We see temperatures only in the 30s out there, and we'll dip down well into the 20s headed into our Wednesday morning. To start November, going to be a pretty chilly beginning to the month. Today's high is 41, a mix of sunshine and clouds out there. Again, eventually tonight, 29 the low. It's mostly cloudy. By the time we hit the afternoon tomorrow, we bring in those few flurries. Again, not a big issue or anything, but it is the first time we likely see flakes this year. 39 is my forecast high. And the trick-or-treat forecast out there, not only for parents, grandparents, and kids, you're all going to want to be bundled up. Temperature's only going to be in the 30s. We also have wind chill out there that'll be in the 20s by the time we have trick-or-treating taking place. And once again, a few of those snow flurries also going to be taking place during that time. Now, in the 3-day forecast here, we'll show you again 41 today, 39 tomorrow for Halloween, and we're only 40 because we start at 24 headed into our first day of November. But it does dry out for the second half of the week, including November 1st through 3rd. Friday, we're back up into the 50s, even though clouds hold on. Spartans got a football game against Nebraska at Spartan Stadium on Saturday at noon. 54-degree forecast high. Might have to dodge a shower or two later in the day, but the game could stay dry if the rain holds off. And Sunday morning, the showers exit. But we also fall back this weekend, going from the daylight time into standard time. So while we do gain an hour of sleep and gain the hour in the morning, we lose the hour of daylight in the evening, and so Sunday's sunset happens before 5:30 p.m., something we'll ride out through the end of the year. The Monday forecast here then features the return to some showers, and the temperatures are going to cool back off once again, but at least those showers next week are staying rain. Aside from the few snowflakes that fly on Tuesday, we might not see them for the rest of the forecast.
Oh boy, all right. Thank you, Justin. Even you just talking about the cold temperatures makes me chilly, and I have a long sleeve on. So you better prepare for all of the cold temperatures, not just happening today, not just happening tomorrow for Halloween and when you're collecting candy, but of course the rest of the week and heading in later into the season. We are in the colder months and we live in Michigan, so you should know what to expect. But of course you can always stay up to date with the First Alert Weather app. Of course our meteorologists always upload the video forecast. They go on the radio. They're always uploading on our website, WILX.com, with all of the up-to-date weather that you need to know in your area. And yeah, so they got hour by hour, radar, satellite, whatever you're looking for, you can download the First Alert Weather app. And make sure, if you have at the top below there where it says your location, you can set it to the Follow Me location, or if you want to see what it looks like in another area, you can go change that as well. And not only can you find out the weather, but you can, of course, get traffic alert updates as well. So, of course, as we head into the colder months, and we get kind of the slick roads with the snow and the ice, you can really be aware of all of the different accidents. Hopefully there aren't any, but it happens every now and then. So just make sure that you're staying up to date. Now we also have our reporters in the field sharing what they have coming up. I'll send it to them before we preview what's on our 90 minutes of news.
I'm Erin Bowling, and today I'm at one of our mid-Michigan picket lines where UAW members just learned of the tentative agreement reached with General Motors. I'll have what these workers have to say about the tentative agreement on News 10, 5 and 6. Justin, over to you.
Thanks, Erin. a new investment grant money that is going to allow high schoolers and middle school students to get exposure to an industry making semiconductors. Michigan is emerging as a leader. I'll have more on that story coming up for you guys later on in our 90 Minutes of News. Now let's toss it over and see what's going on with Deanna.
Thanks, Justin. Did you know that nearly 600 million pounds of candy is bought every year for Halloween? But what happens to those candy wrappers? A national organization is encouraging people to recycle them so that they don't end up in the wrong place. I'm Deanna Giles, and I'll have that story on News 10 at 6. Back to you, Taylor.
Oh boy, it looks cold out there. Well, thank you, Aaron, Justin, and Deanna, for sharing what you have coming up during our 90 Minutes of News. See that you've got your coats on. That is good. Hopefully you've got some gloves too, and that you come back to the station real quick. Yes, drink some hot chocolate too. Warm your bodies up. But in the meantime, here's what we have coming up today on First at 4 and our 90 Minutes of News. Now, people are busy, so we were not able to get anyone for Mid-Michigan Matters today. However, we do have a great story talking about tree equity and kind of that ratio from the number of trees to in a certain community, different neighborhoods, how many trees you need to have there. It's not just great for your health or the environment, also the climate. So we're talking about that and what you need to know coming up during First at 4 today. Again, that is in place of Mid-Michigan Matters. And then coming up on News 10 at 5, Tim Stout will preview the Lions taking on the Raiders for Monday Night Football. Of course, they had that disappointing loss for Detroit fans last week when they took on the Baltimore Ravens. But for prime time again, Lions coming back, taking on the Raiders tonight for Monday Night Football. We'll have to see what Tim Stout has to say about that. Coming up on News 10 at 5:30, Election Day is next week, if you can believe it. That is November 7th. And on the ballot in Eagle Township, the recall of Township Supervisor Patty Jo Schaefer. We have more on that ballot item and what it will mean for Eagle Township. Coming up on News 10 at 6, we did have breaking news earlier this morning. We had it in News 10 today at 11, talking about the UAW coming into a tentative agreement with General Motors. Last week, they did have that agreement with Ford. Over the weekend, it was with Stellantis. And so coming up on News 10 at 6, Mars Anderson breaks down the tentative agreement between the UAW and General Motors, and the last of the big three looking to reach a deal with workers. Again, a 6-week strike, looking to end all of that, having their workers go back to work, reopen those plants. And so I know we've been talking a lot over the past several weeks, the different reactions from the community, from the workers, and we've really been focusing on what these agreements mean and the continuing strike, what that had. But all three have come to tentative agreements, so Mars Anderson, again, will recap that coming up during our 90 Minutes of News today. I've got one last thing to show you before we head out here. It is our You're Not Alone mental health series. We're doing this all year long here on News 10, and every month you can expect multiple different stories, whether they're interviews or talking to community members on their emotional well-being. And now sometimes, we're human, that gets a little shaken up. But there are resources out there for you. If you go scan that QR code on the right side of your screen, it'll pull up a list of resources from around Mid-Michigan. And so whether you're looking for a therapist, family, behavioral, or any type of counseling, you can go up and scan that QR code and it will direct you and help guide you toward what you're looking for. In the meantime, if you want to give a call to the Lifeline chat, that number is 988. Again, that number is 988. Hope you guys are all staying warm out there with these chilly temperatures, and you have a great rest of your day.